Yo, 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 it's your boy Mark Goodman, aka the voice box of the block. I'm back in the building. I'm hopping in the window like, bro, man, what's happening? Today I have a guest. Today I have a special guest, Miss Braxton. She has a story to tell, and we want her to share her story. And first and foremost, though, good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Thank you
Good
for
morning.
being here on the Good Guy Podcast, located
Thank
in Greenwood, South Carolina. How you been doing on your holidays? You been enjoying your holiday for the most part?
Holidays really ain't the same for us.
Um,
I enjoy my children, of course, but the holidays is not the same. And on the 29th, it'll be a year that my father has passed. So we're still dealing with that. This will be the first
I see.
year. So holidays are not the same as they used to be. However, I am grateful to
Mhm.
be able to wake up and to enjoy, my children and my family.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. For the most part, though, I'm thankful to hear that you've been having a pretty good holiday. I know it's a struggle losing loved ones and having to uh, celebrate without them. But we got to push forward and really, really focus on the small things or the big things like life, health, and strength, and the other siblings and the other people that are around you that are still living. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna hold you. Want to dive deep into your story, Miss Braxton, and nobody can tell a story better than the person who actually going through it. So I had to dig deep and I had to find the mother. And I want you to take the time and just tell your story about what happened on that day on October the 4th, 2016.
So about 4:30 or so, my life changed forever, and it was on a Tuesday. So about that morning. So let me just start that morning. That
Uh-huh.
morning was just a regular morning. Just everybody's in the flow. We're doing what we normally do.
Yeah. Now you
Um,
take this is around school time, right? Getting kids ready for
Absolutely.
school. Okay,
So
go
this
ahead.
is in the morning. So that morning, I remember her hair was all over her head. Okay. And we were just starting. So we were just, starting to get back on our feet. I was working in insurance. I had branched out on my own. And if you're a business owner, you know how stressful it can be. And sometimes things go lacking, in the house because you're trying to absolutely build this family. And so
Absolutely.
I didn't have any money on me, and I didn't even know her hair was like that, and then she woke up the next morning. And so I remember plaiting her hair, and I remember telling her, I'm gonna get some money from your daddy when he get off work today, and mama
Right.
gonna make sure your hair is real pretty for when you go to school tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And she was the kind of child, Amaya was the kind of child where, if she didn't like something, she would tell you,
Right.
okay? If she didn't like what you did, like she'd be like, I don't like this. You know, but on that particular day, she was like, "It's
Outspoken
okay, mom."
child. So you would say Amaya was the outspoken child.
Absolutely. Maya was like, "I ain't gonna do it. If she ain't gonna do something, she ain't gonna do it. And if the consequences come, well, there's just consequences."
I love the
But she
kid.
ain't going. She
Yeah.
just wasn't going. But very sweetheart. But that particular day, she told me, she said, "Mama, don't worry about it." She said, "My hair gonna be fine."
Okay.
So I hugged her. She has this thing about everybody would hug in the morning time. That's just how I brought my kids up because I love the Lord and
Absolutely.
I believe in Jesus, and I don't know what everybody else believes, and I don't even care, but I
Mhm.
believe in, you never know when your last day is going to be. I've been like that for a very, very long time. So my kids always had the custom. They tell each other bye in the morning. I was taking her younger brother to daycare. And they hugged and kissed every morning. And so that's one thing that I can truly say, that I'm so glad that he was able to get that one last kiss from her and that one last embrace.
Right.
And so they were waiting for the bus. The bus was coming, of course. So they left and they went to school. About 4:30 that day, my phone started ringing. And I mean, it was ringing so many times. so many times, over and over and over. So when I was finally able to answer the phone, it was my husband, and he was hysterical. And he said, "Where are you? Where are you?" And so I said, "Well, I'm at home." I said, that's why I had arranged for him to pick up our son.
Absolutely.
And I knew the kids was going to come home from school because, me, I'm very open. I'm very honest. That day I chilled out at the crib. I had me a couple drinks, you get what I'm saying? I'm going through my cake. I'm working, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm doing whatever I need to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's really a normal day.
It's just a normal day.
Right.
I get up at 5:30 and I start doing their supper. Most of the time, supper's already done before my kids get home from school, because I believe in taking care of your man. And I believe in taking care of your kids. You got to take care of your family if you want them, you know what I'm saying, to be productive.
Say that first thing first.
I believe in taking care of my man, and I believe in taking care of my kids always. My daughter that's married now, which I'm gonna get back on the store, on the main thing, she's 25 and she has a husband, and she knows how to take care of her kids. So Amyia and her brothers was never neglected. You get what I'm saying? They saw mama do what was necessary. And so before I get any more for the backlash from the people that say, "Oh, well, you're a Christian and you drink." Well, I am, and I do. Yes. I know what I need to do. You get what I'm saying? So let's just let that go, because I'm not the person that killed Amyia, okay? But I had to say that because I have had some backlash because I make that statement. But I was totally honest, because I knew that if I was going to chill out at home, I'm not going to get on the road and put nobody else's life in jeopardy. That's why I made arrangements with my husband to do the adult thing and stay off the road. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
So anyway, he's calling me, he's hysterical. And he says, "Where are you?" I said, "I told you I was gonna be at home, I already had everything set up." I said, "So what's going on?" I said, "Why are you yelling at me anyway?" Yeah. And he says, "My phone been ringing because they're telling me that Amyia was hit by a car." Now, mind you, I didn't lay down until 2:30.
Right.
2:15, 2:30ish, okay? Because I knew I had to do a quick nap because I got to go on and do the mother thing in a little while. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I said, "Amyia ain't been hit by no car." I said, "She didn't have no field trip today." I said, "So I don't believe that." I said, "Charles, it's only 2:30. I said, "I just laid down." Right. And he was like, "No." He's like, "It's 4:30. And he said, "You need to get up and find out what's going on."
Right.
And the way he said it with like, "You better get up." You know what I'm saying? And find out what's going on.
Like what I'm hearing is accurate.
Yes, so he's like, "You better get up." Yeah. So I got up, and when I pulled the blinds back, because we stayed in a trailer.
Right. I seen the pictures. Yeah. I seen the pictures. Yeah. And
so in a trailer, you can't hear in the back of a trailer. If you stay in a mobile home, a lot of people will tell you you can't hear in the back, no matter what's going on.
Right.
So it's almost like I kind of heard something though when I was asleep, and I go back to this, and when my phone rang the first couple of times, I couldn't move. It's like I heard it, but it's so hard to explain. It's like it's almost like I was just held down on the bed and I couldn't do nothing. And I was like that for about 15 minutes. I can't even explain what that was. I could not get up.
Right.
I could not get up. So I finally get up, and when I pull the blinds back, it's like ambulances, fire trucks, just a scene. Yeah. So by this time, I'm thinking I'm dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ain't no way this didn't happen. I was like, Lord, just let me wake up from this dream. So I'm going through the house, and my mind is going like 100 miles an hour, because I'm dealing with, I need to wake up out this dream because my daughter is out there. I don't know what to do. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. And so it was dress.
Right.
Okay. So it was this dress that I had been overlooking, and I guess you could say, when you a mom that works hard, I had just I was like, I'm gonna put this laundry up, I'm gonna hang this dress up, but I never hung the dress up.
Right.
So I grabbed the dress, and when I opened the door, people start screaming. Like, there's the mom, there's the mom. So something tells me this is not a dream. You got to go.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the steps. This man that comes up to me, I've never seen before. He's the school superintendent. And he tells me, he says, well, there's been an accident with little Maya. And I was like, what you mean an accident? And then he was like, well, she got struck by a car. And then I said, where is she? But I'm thinking, where is her brother? Because she had a 10-year-old brother at the time. It was the day after his birthday.
Right.
I'm like, Lamathion.
Yeah.
So she opened up the door and he comes out of the bus and he comes up to me and he said, Mama, he said, I tried to tell them to let me come and get you because you were in there, but they kept saying that you wasn't there. He said, but I knew you was in the house, you know, because he's talking to me. He was like, I tried to come in the house. Right. He said, I tried to come in the house. He said, but they wouldn't let me come in the house.
Right.
And then I was like, well, son, you know, I can't worry about that right now. You get what I'm saying? I said, where's your sister? And then he said, she's over there, but I don't know what's going on because they won't let me see her. I was like, okay. So I'm walking and then they tell me that she's in the ambulance. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, can I ride back there with her? They was like, no, you can ride in the front. So we get to the hospital. You know, I don't know anything what's going on. Only thing I know is I need to go to the hospital because my daughter's in the back of this ambulance. So when I look back there, her head is wrapped up. Mm-hmm. She's not making any noise. They speaking in medical terms. Right. I noticed that we started going real slow. Mm-hmm. Not sure, let's get to the hospital right now kind of thing.
I just got one question before we get to the hospital, before we get there. Because it was because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But I do want to ask one question because you said your son. Mm-hmm. I was reading in the report that the bus driver pulled the son back onto the bus. Mm-hmm. Right? And I always wondered, did the bus driver blow the horn?
I can tell you what the bus driver didn't do. I can tell you that the bus driver...
If the bus driver seen he had enough time to pull them back, he had enough time to blow the horn. So I'm saying, like, if he had enough time to blow the horn, because I was looking at why they didn't charge. We can get to that front. Keep going. Go ahead.
So now I can tell you this. I can absolutely tell you that I had some couple of issues with that.
Right.
Even though at the time I couldn't even say or do what I needed to do. Right. Because mind you, as I'm coming out my house, I see the vehicle in my yard. Right. I see Karen Carpenter out the corner of my eye, but she's over here.
Yeah, it's a couple of interesting how she went on that side. Mm-hmm. You know, I see the yard. It's like a little slope right there. I see the driveway, and as I'm reading the story, I'm trying to close my eyes and picture this. And there's a couple of things that intrigued me because, like I said, at the end they didn't charge it because they didn't feel like they went to grand jury twice, and they felt like they didn't feel like there was intent. That's the key thing that keep popping up on every time I read in different articles. The intent, which I found was interesting, because a lot of things ain't intend to happen. But if they blow the horn, then that's and she keeps pressing the gas, and that's bypassing the intent. That's my thought. But I'm not a lawyer or judge anything of that nature. But can finish the story.
So now that we're talking, and I'm so glad that we're talking about this because now this makes sense to me. This is something that your audience and your viewers is going to hear for the first time. This has never been said, my thinking, and now it's coming together.
Right. Put it together.
So the reason why they didn't let my son come in there and get me is because they outside doing the cover up.
Right. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out first.
Because who is going to hold a child on the bus? Their sister just got pulled off of somebody's car in pieces, and you not going to let them? And then not only that, the neighbors even told them. Yeah. Even my neighbors on both sides says, if that black car in their yard, she in that house. She probably in the back and don't know what's going on. They said, but she don't leave her kids on and off the bus by themselves. Oh, no, sir. Because I believe in being there for your kids. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like they set the stage for me to look like a bad person.
Absolutely.
Because they were out there plotting.
Right. Yeah. Because there's two parties that might felt like there was their fault. The bus driver. So he has to.
I blame the bus driver too. I said she was the first line of defense because she should have been aware of the traffic behind her. You cannot assume that children are going to stop. I'm sorry. You cannot assume that cars is going to stop. It's your responsibility to make sure they are stopped. Now,
yeah. She pulls she pulls the stop sign, and she stops to pull the stop sign. The little thing goes out. It has to be a delay there to make sure all traffic is stopped. Right? There has to be a delay.
I believe that.
She can't just open, she just can't sit there and stop, open the gate and everything simultaneously. There has to be a delay to make sure everything stopped, as you say, behind. That's how I look at it. And then if something like that is happening, she has time to grab one child, and she has time to blow the horn. That now there's like 4 or 5 different warnings that the driver has neglected. So that bypasses any intent that you think that she does or does not have, because she bypassed all the signs. That's why I don't get why justice hasn't been served, because it's important that the bus driver be in detail on how she did the drop off to allow the grand jury to really get a verdict of intent.
So
that's how I look at it. But I ain't no lawyer. I'm just a podcast guy.
Hey, but you're doing good though, because we're putting together and we're actually telling the truth. This is the thing though. I believe that too. However, she was there long enough to already have been stopped. She was there long enough without the presence of Karen Carpenter to Amyia was already off the bus.
Right.
So regardless, the bus driver was at fault. I tell them that. I'll let them know how I felt about that. Yeah. But there's just so many key players in this. So as I go to the hospital, I have to find out that my daughter is deceased. Still, I have no answer. There is no police presence.
Hold on, before we speed forward. So you get to the hospital, you find out little Amyia has passed. There's no police officer. Was any principal, or I think you said somebody was present when you woke up? They told you, right? Did he go to the hospital?
So my husband actually called me on the phone. So I'm doing all this motion by myself. Okay. I'm by myself for the first hour and a half until my family can get to me before his family can come. So I'm there by myself. My aunties meet me there. And so they sit in there with me. And I noticed that they kept sending that priest man in there. Mm-hmm. I noticed that he kept coming in there asking me, do I need anything or whatever. So when I was in the ambulance, I already knew that she was gone. See, when you connected to God, he'll tell you stuff and he'll get you prepared. So I pretty much already knew that I had lost Amyia. I already knew. And I felt like that weighing on my chest, I felt like she didn't want me to see her in pieces out there like that. Because when I made it out there, she was in the ambulance. So I feel like she protected me from that. That would have messed me up. And then there's no telling what I would have did to that woman in that car. Because at that point, I probably would have felt like you done this. So now let me handle you. Because when I was walking past her car, someone even let me look in her direction. It's like I felt something pulling me to the ambulance. I promise you. It's just like it just guided me right onto the ambulance. Because I tried to find out what was going on because I'm still in shock. I have so many questions and no answers. School superintendent came up to me, not no police officer. No, the police didn't even come up to me. They didn't even say anything to me. It was a school superintendent. Right. And then when we get to the hospital, I'm seeing the story on the news. I'm seeing the story. But where is the police? That the chief of police wasn't at the hospital.
I forgot to tell. Now we're this. I know this is in Mississippi. And what's the town?
It was in Belden, Mississippi, Pontotoc County.
Pontotoc County. Okay, got it. So we when we vision Belden, Mississippi, what we thinking? Small town, probably 70, 20.
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like, because where we lived 15 minutes from Pontotoc, 15 minutes from New Albany, 15 minutes from Tupelo, 5 minutes to Sherman. That's how it is. So it's not a big place. Like I just had an address. Yeah, I just had like a building address. Gotcha. But everything primarily came through Pontotoc.
Right. So this is a smaller town.
It's a small town, yes.
And so okay, so I got go ahead. So I'm just trying to give a vision to my viewers of exactly what type of town this is, because that's very important when it comes to getting justice, your location.
Absolutely. It's all about location. So I'm at the hospital and I'm knowing that the police, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, okay, we're here. I'm worried about that. But, a part of me is worried about, well, what happened? How did I end up here? How did I end up here? I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, because the doctor coming out and he talking to us in all these terms, and I don't know what you're talking about. So I told him, I said, so can you just tell us? Just tell us. I said, we don't know what you're talking about. I said, won't you just tell us?
Right.
And then he said, she didn't make it. And everything just changed. I went in the back. So I remember screaming. I just remember absolutely a scream. It's hard to explain. I don't think I've ever made that noise before, but it was like it still goes with me sometime. Sometime I could, yeah.
It was rough. And the disappointing part about all this is, as you endure this dramatic time, we try to fight for justice, and the driver doesn't get charged.
They doesn't get
charged at all. And so here he is 5 years later, still trying to fight for justice. And there have been a lot of things on your family's behalf that y'all been trying to do to make sure that the fight goes on. And I want you to try to talk about some of the things. I know that they put up a sign in honor of your daughter on the road. Y'all did that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I most definitely enlightened you on that slap in the face. So
yeah, a lot of things. Let me take a step back. Now, the charges that went up twice to the grand jury, and I think it was Nathan's law that y'all was trying to go against, and was it a manslaughter? And twice they said no, it came because of the intent. And I was looking at Nathan's law, and it was two different situations, because the young boy had to actually cross the street. He had to go across the street in a different lane. He got hit by an oncoming truck, and I think what broke that case open is one of the witnesses say that they didn't see a brake light. So that's why they charged him. Now, my saying is there's no difference in understanding his intent versus the old girl's intent. Just because you didn't see a brake light, I don't think he intended to kill the little boy.
And he didn't.
So if you look at it from that perspective, we let's throw the intent out the window and say there's a death that been happening. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody has to be charged, because both cases are eerily similar. This is why you put the nation's law in process in place so we can get better justice for those things that happen.
So can I just address the issue?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I get talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The real issue is Amyia was an African American child, and the other children were Caucasian. Okay,
yeah, in Mississippi.
Because Mississippi. Okay, because the lady Lori Mack Johnson, when she found out that Amyia was hit, she came to where I lived. She is one of the creators of Nathan's Law because it happened to her son. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yes, she found me and she said, hey, she said this right here, and she gave me the breakdown on why this case was wrong. Okay. So me and her, we talked. So now I know Nathan's Law. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So then it comes with John Weddle says that we had to prove intent. Well, on the police report, she admitted to dozing off, may have fell asleep or looking down.
Yes,
so
she did.
By them words, she put her own self in trouble because we can prove by her words she was negligent, not paying attention.
Yes.
The law says if you break that 10-foot barrier while loading or unloading children, you are guilty. You could be charged with aggravated assault, which is 20 years. And if you cause death, that turns it into a felony. So the reason for writing it that way, to if the child died or not, they would still be facing 20 years for breaking that law. That is how it was written. Yeah. John Weddle decides that he's not going to present it under Nathan's Law. Is the problem. So he goes into this jury room and he persuades these people not to indict Karen Carpenter because he never presented it as a crime. How do we know he never presented it as a crime? Because he told us he never presented it as a crime. Yeah. Neither did he take her previous driving record into consideration. Now, brother, you know, like I know, if you is a repeat anything, if they catch you with weed, they keep catching you over and over. And then let's say that you rob somebody. That robbery is not the only thing on the table. That weed is coming back up too. Yeah. If you are a person who has DUIs, and let's say that you run a stop sign one day, that stop sign is not going to be the only thing that they're going to charge you with when you get in front of that judge. Everything that you ever did is on the table, is back alive. So tell me this, if she's have a history of speeding in work zones and in school zones over and over and over, and then she killed somebody's kid by speeding, because we know she was speeding, which he says she wasn't speeding, that's impossible. She was going so fast, she jumped 2 ditches and still killed her in my driveway. And then not only that, why is it that the police department gave a false statement, did a false police report? They have Amyia in front of Karen Carpenter. They have her walking toward the car, toward the bus. Amyia never had to cross the street, and we put the pictures out there so people will understand where you see that bus at is right where they left her off at. Yeah. So how would he take a false police report in there and present it to a grand jury? Right. Then 18 months later, Dylan Thomas get killed going across the street at nighttime or early in the morning where you can't see, thinking that he was going around a tractor trailer. John Weddle, which handled Amyia's case, said that he could prove that the boy intended to do it because he went around. But he can't seem to prove that Karen Carpenter intended to go around the school bus. Well, she intended to go around the side that the child was getting off on instead of going around on the side where they may be incoming traffic to kill herself. So instead, she's gambling with somebody's life. Right. And she made the wrong move because she killed my child. And then for them to say, oh, well, we have to prove intent. Well, you didn't have to prove intent for Dylan Thomas. You made sure his family got everything, and then tell the family to stay away from me and don't talk to me because I'm a troublemaker. So now you have Dylan Thomas' mother.
I think Widow I was going back to Widow because I was reading the article and I was reading where he actually talked about it, or where the article spoke about it, and how when he went in, I think he did the old fashioned lookout. He looked out for it in how he detailed the case. He took some things out, and he made it a matter of to make it seem as if the intent was should be put in place, because the law is not broad. It's really direct. If you violate. There's no emotion attached to it. See what I'm saying? Is it so he did a job of that, and I saw that investigating him would be a great idea, because there's a lot of issues that he done that wasn't based off the good of y'all, but it was more or less based off not getting her in trouble. So with that being said, some of the things, just talk about some of the things that y'all been done over the last couple of years to fight for justice for Amyia.
So I've traveled. I've been a lot of places. Everybody that I see, everywhere that I go, everybody knows about Amyia. That's our main purpose, is to say her name and to get other people to say her name and to really take a good look at this story, because we're not going to get anywhere if we don't have enough pressure. And so I just got documents, brother, about 90 days ago that I've been waiting on for 5 years.
Wow.
5 years. So it's really working with the pressure, because we have people call down there. It be hundreds of people be calling them before they can hang the phone up. Somebody else is calling, wanting to know, because that's how you have to. They're not going to fight for themselves in Mississippi. I can tell you right now, they are not going to fight for themselves. Even bullied me to make me move, because they felt like I was going to bring heat on them. What kind of garbage is that? Yeah. And so then I had to move outside of Mississippi to start fighting, because I spoke to a young lady who was on, the team or whatever. When it first happened, she was at every event. I'm so grateful for her. I love her. But she says people really got upset with us because we told people that we didn't want people harassing Karen Carpenter. So they decided not to support. Now, if I tell you that I don't want you to harass somebody because she's white and you're black, and whatever you do to her, you're going to jail, you get upset with me and you don't support me fighting for my 7-year-old daughter, there's something wrong with you anyway. It's something wrong with the whole place anyway. A whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch of junk, a whole bunch of mess. And I'm sorry it took them threatening to kill me in order for me to move. But I'm so glad I got away from that, because in Atlanta, I see the world in a whole new different world. It's a whole nother world here. People don't even think like they enslaved.
Because it's a lot of ownership in Atlanta. Atlanta and Mississippi, totally different. So,
totally different. Totally different.
You're in a much better environment. There's much more people with resources that are helping as well in Atlanta, and the people that the resources probably can help you look like you, so you're more comfortable in that environment versus Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And as far as being African American, any other Black leaders I know we talked about have reached out to you to pick up the case? Because I know NAACP, Black Lives Matter. They should be all dived in on this case as well.
Black Lives Matter in Mississippi was great. Anna and her crew, they are absolutely. But let me tell you about the NAACP, okay? When this first happened, I got in contact with them of Mississippi. Gave that man my contact information, baby. It's 5 years later. I'm still waiting on that return phone call, okay? These people are, so that's what I'm saying. It's like now the Nation of Islam, now they get involved.
Yeah, you talked about that.
With them in a couple of weeks. So they're getting involved because they understand the movement. The movement it's bigger than Amyia now, brother. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than Karen Carpenter at this point. I just learned the power of my voice 5 years ago. Okay. I really learned that this mouth right here can get some stuff done. This mouth right here is the bread and butter. Right. I will not let them cover up my daughter's murder. I will not. And I'm not going to let people just sit here and stay asleep. People really do need to look even though The Matrix is some crap, people really need to look at the concept of that movie. They feeding you this illusion. This law that they got, it's not for you. So check this out. So they were talking about taking and making an amendment to Nathan's Law, right?
Okay.
Which makes no sense to me because you didn't even involve the family.
Right.
So they're gonna do this whole law and they're gonna make an amendment for Nathan's Law. Okay, so they're gonna amend Nathan's Law that didn't work in the first place. But they only changed 1 or 2 sentences in it.
Yeah.
Didn't even say nothing to me. Didn't say nothing to my husband about it. Nobody. So we didn't have nothing.
That's what we call reform. They not gonna change. They not gonna tear the building down. They gonna change the pictures. They gonna make it look sweet, and they gonna smile. But see, again, you talking about a state that is historically bad for Black people. So when it comes to finding justice, they don't lean towards our favor. So you actually have to look outside of your resources of Mississippi. So I'm so glad that she was able to do that and continue to fight and continue to push on, because it's very important to get justice for Amyia, because things like this happen all the time on our end. We don't get justice for it. You know what I mean? And as through social media, what are some of the things through social media you're doing? Because social media is so big now. And that's another way.
It is. It's scary, ain't it? It's scary from
I think social media will eliminate people talking one of these days. Like they're just gonna go straight to social media and get out everything. So what are some of things you're doing through social media to help the cause?
Okay, so one thing that we're doing is we have the Justice for Amyia page, her Facebook page. It has about 13,000 people right now who are active in the group, who follow, who share posts. Amyia also has TikTok as hashtag Justice for Amyia Braxton or Justice for Amyia hashtag. It's about 280 some thousand on one of them, and then on the Justice for Amyia, I think it's like 260 some thousand people who follow her on TikTok. You have my pages. I have God Works on Tuesdays 2 page. I have 2 Andrea Braxton's pages. I also have Instagram. Amyia has her own Instagram. I found out. I just have to be scrolling through, and I was like, dang, girl, you got more followers than me. So Amyia Braxton has her own Instagram page. You can follow me on Instagram too. Andrea Braxton 11126. Then you can just straight up Google her. She popped straight up Google. I was like, wow, and I Googled myself the other day for the first time. So you can also follow me on Google because I have made it to Google.
I Googled you and you popped up.
Right. I was like,
I
wow.
did. And I did want to ask you, because I thought about something before I get off here, and I think that was very important, dealing with such a traumatic incident. How are you dealing with your other kids as far as getting on the school bus? I know you were saying you changed your whole lifestyle as far as making sure that you're not gonna let them get on the bus or something like that. How are you dealing with it now?
So after this happened with Amyia for like the year and something that we remained in Mississippi until we had to move, they took to school every morning and they was picked up every evening. I had to turn down jobs because I didn't trust them to be on the school bus. So now, since they're here, believe it or not, I live in an apartment complex, and I still have concerns about them getting on and off the bus here, because people don't really understand that 5 miles over the speed limit is too much. You really have to be careful because you have our babies getting on and off the school bus. They don't pay attention. They don't care. And I done been to this leasing office 5 times, okay? And I'm not done. Because we're going to do something about it. If I come to your community and I see something ain't safe, we're going to do something about it. I'm going straight up there and say, hey, we need this fixed. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I couldn't save Amyia, but I want to save somebody else. And I have jumped in front of a car and saved 2 kids since I've been here at this place. And my son said, why did you do that? I said, somebody had to be there for them. So I'm dedicated to this. And I need for other people to get serious about their communities and their kids. If you see somebody passing the school bus, you need to take a picture of their license plate. You need, a matter of fact, you need to take a picture of that bus, and then you need to go and tell the the people at the bus shop or whoever over the bus, hey, this is what's going on this route. Can you get somebody to follow this bus driver? Because I have seen the person that was driving Amiya's bus still was driving, and you know what? It's raining outside, and she got shades on. She got shades on. I followed her in the bus, just taking the whole thing, and I'm thinking, and it's raining out here. Why you wearing shades? And then she was speeding with kids on the bus.
Now, as far as the extended work, you wrote the book, God's work. Let's talk about that. I didn't want to leave without having you to dive in and talk about that.
So the name of the book is God Works on Tuesdays Too. It is written by Miss Lori Story, a very talented author. Shout out to her. And it's mostly about me, and then it's about how I dealt with the death. Because I've had things that happened to me my whole life. I really feel like my whole life was just a battleground until October the 4th. There were parts of my life when I was suicidal. I was married to my first husband when I was 15. He abused me. I've been trapped up in the house by grown men.
Wait. Hold. You're giving me I gotta read the book. But you're giving me a lot.
I'm sorry. So
I'm already hurt over Amyia. Now you give me a lot. You give me a whole lot more. Let's slow the thing down.
Okay, So it's really about
we need to drink something stiffer. I got water. Wait, go ahead.
I got coffee with lemon. So it's just it really tells you how to rise above adversity, and it really talks about not burning down stuff to get your point across. It really talks about using your mind to change. When Amyia died, something inside of me changed. I can't explain it. I'm not a suicidal, depressed person anymore. I really found I have a purpose. And my purpose is to help my brothers and my sisters. And it was dealing with, it just talks about my marriage in general. Just how to deal with life as it really just throws you a curveball. You catch the curveball, you catch it,
yes,
and you throw it back. But you get to pose yourself, you get to pause yourself, you get to take a deep breath. And so I have a message. First of all, there's a whole section in there to tell you how to give to the cause, and it's a whole section in there that's dedicated to Amyia.
Yes, but please let people know how to. At the end, we're gonna please let people know how to give to the cause.
Yes.
Hashtag your Cash App and things of that nature as well. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I ain't gonna give you too much, but God Works on Tuesdays Too is Amyia got killed on a Tuesday. And ever since that Tuesday, things in my life has been different. I'm not this insecure child who don't know how to speak up for themselves, who watched their parents do stupid stuff, who was involved in, I did stupid stuff too, but I grew up. And I realized that I can do anything that I want to do. I can achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. Absolutely. And what we're going to achieve is justice for Amyia. And we're going to see about John Weddle and Sadie Gardner. We're going to see about them. I'm checking real hard on them. And if anybody decides to run in the next election, please let Miss Braxton know.
Yes.
Because Miss Braxton will help you.
Yes.
And I don't even have to know you.
Absolutely.
But if change don't start, if we don't cut it out and get them out, then they're going to stay in there. And they're going to keep on tormenting black after black after black. And I'm tired. But it's going to take them in Mississippi to get tired too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Miss Braxton, for sharing your story. Please, is there anything else you want to say as far as the fight for Amyia, what we can do as viewers, what can we do to help you? My platform is always welcome for you to come on, and any updates you need, you got my number, and you're more than welcome to come on and share it, because I think for me, My gift is to allow people to come on my platform and share ideas, anything I can help, especially the Black, especially a fight. I'm a fighter. I'm gonna go there. I'm probably gonna die fighting. So when it comes to a good fight like this, I'm willing to go the great lengths to help my sisters and brothers to fight for a great cause, because we need justice. We need justice for Amyia, and we need it immediately. There shouldn't be a 5-year wait or a five-year fight for something that's such clear and cut. You know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna do. I want to thank you so much for coming on the Good Guys Podcast in Greenville, South Carolina. Is there anything you want to say?
Yes, so we do have a cash out for Amyia. It is hashtag Justice for Amyia, and it's justice, the number 4 Amyia. It's $. Justice for Amyia. So we have the cash out. Also, please sign her petition. If we trying to get 1 million signatures, so we have over 700,000 right now.
I'm glad you said that. You did you close to 1 million, and I'm gonna make sure me and mine sign. Y'all at like over 700,000, and that is great, man. I want y'all to. I'm gonna make sure that my brother run that at the end of this to make sure there's a link to the petition, because I really want to get that to 1 million. If I can get 1 or 2 followings, 1 or 2 signatures, I feel like I done my job. So
absolutely, it's going to take all of us. Hey, it's great because her petition is going, and then once we get that one done, we might jumpstart another one to get 100,000 signatures in 30 days, and then that will go straight to the White House. So that's what we're going to do. But we need to get the 1 million first, just because a lot of people challenged us and told us that we wouldn't get 10,000. So we're just really letting people know there's more people that care about Amyia once the story get out.
Yes, through social media. I think through social media, you can get millions and millions of signatures through social media, because at the end of the day, justice needs to be served. And the more and more people know about this case, they probably going to just go ahead and sign it. Be like, what is Mississippi doing? They dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. Just the minute you dropped the ball. And I think
One more thing. We have to say this. So you remember that we sent you that toxicology report that she took in 2017.
Right.
Why did she take a toxicology report 2017? When you said on the police report you took her that night, why does she need one 7 months later for?
Absolutely.
And then who is the judge that signed off on that foolishness?
Absolutely, I agree. All these things need to be answered. And that's why we gotta take a look at with them. But that's in the story. Go get the book.
Amazon.
Amazon. How you get the book on Amazon anyway? On Amazon.
So you would just go to Amazon, and then you would look up God Works on Tuesdays too. I sent you like a little demo that I made with that song on there. I really do like that song. Yeah, but it is available on Amazon. And so y'all, even if you don't purchase a copy, which I hope you do, please just like it or leave a brief comment on your take of the story. The book is really growing. It's really doing good. And a lot of people are saying that they feel inspired and they feel like they can change and they feel like that they are stronger. So that's absolutely what I want to do. I want to spread some love on my Savior on there, and I want to let people know that I am not down. Just know if you don't hear from me, I am working on a new plan. And thank you, and thank Miss Tawana Graves and Miss LaShawn Price, CPTV.
Yeah, shout out to her. She's so dope, man. They so dope. She always send me great guests, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's Mark Goodman, aka the voice box of the block, and we out. Thank you.
It don't matter the topic, whatever it is, then you know that we got you. We spread the knowledge, we talk about politics, even the gossip. You can hear us on Spotify or tune in to YouTube, you even can watch us. I know we got haters, I can promise you one thing that we never stopping. It's the Good Guy Podcast. I ain't bragging, but we are the greatest. It's the Good Guy Podcast.